in the morning.
Welcome back to our channel, my fellow YNR addicts. It is a beautiful day to dive into some serious Genoa City drama and grab a snack because we have a lot of ground to cover today. I cannot believe they are actually doing this. I am literally sitting here typing this up late at night because my brain is just buzzing and I absolutely have to get these thoughts out of my system before I explode. I mean, I have been watching this show for years since way back in the day and I have seen some truly wild storylines. But this current arc with Jack Abbott and Patty Williams is pushing me right to the edge of my sanity. Are you guys seeing what I am seeing? Jack Abbott, what on earth are you thinking? We need to talk about this absolute train wreck of a storyline because I am half celebrating the drama and half complaining about the sheer audacity of the writers. I just need to vent to people who actually get it, because my real-life friends are tired of hearing me scream about Genoa City. Let's just jump right into my feelings before I even try to logically explain what happened, because logic left the chat the moment Patty Williams walked back into the Abbott mansion. And can we please talk about Kyle Abbott for a second, because Kyle is literally all of us right now. He is the audience surrogate, standing there completely furious at his father's seemingly stupid decisions, and frankly, he has every single right to be losing his mind. I mean, I know some people are loving this campy villainy from Patty, but personally, I am just so stressed out for Kyle. He has already mourned his mother once when Diane faked her death back in 2011 wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, but you know what I mean. He spent a decade thinking his mother was a corpse in the park, and now she is actually missing, and his dad is over here playing house with the woman who is probably responsible. Kyle's outrage when he sees Jack playing nice with Patty is so raw and real. He is looking at his father like Jack has completely lost his mind, and honestly, if I didn't know the secret plan, I would think Jack had lost it too. Kyle is furious, and I am entirely here for his protective son era. But then we have Patty. Oh my god, Patty Williams. She is standing right there in the Abbott mansion, looking around like she is already picking out new drapes, firmly asserting her delusional belief that it is time for Jack to put the whole Diane Jenkins situation behind him. Are you kidding me? According to Patty, Jack just needs to choose her and focus on building a new life together. I am sorry, but the sheer level of delusion it takes to kidnap a man's wife and then waltz into his living room and suggest he just move on with you is staggering. Remember when they tried this obsessive storyline with her years ago? Yeah, didn't work then either, but this time it feels so much more sinister. She is acting like Diane just went on a long vacation and left Jack single and ready to mingle. Patty might be giving Jack a little time to think about her proposal, but we all know it's not a real choice. It is a hostage negotiation disguised as a romantic courtship, and it makes my skin crawl in the best, most soapy way possible. Because here is the terrifying reality of the situation. Patty holds all the cards right now. She has total control over Diane's fate through her shady, sickening alliance with Dr. Lawrence Markham. And she is not being subtle about it either. She is making it crystal clear that she wants Jack to always prioritize Diane's safety, which is just an incredibly twisted way of saying, if you don't date me, your wife is going to suffer. Jack knows that every single move he makes, every word he says, could directly impact what happens to Diane in that remote cabin. The blackmail is real, and it is heavy. I mean, Jack is a powerful man, a billionaire CEO, and he is being completely cornered by a woman who is using his deep love for his wife as a weapon against him. It is psychological torture. He knows that if he rejects Patty, Dr. Markham might resort to those other methods he keeps threatening Diane with, and Jack simply cannot risk that. So, Jack realizes he has to make the ultimate sacrifice. Even though the very thought of having a relationship with Patty, even a fake one, makes him physically sick, he comes to the horrifying conclusion that it is his only option. I can't even begin to imagine the trauma this is bringing up for him. Remember the yacht? Remember when Victor Newman funded Patty, and she locked Jack in a cabin, drugged him unconscious, and sexually compromised him? That is Jack's abuser. And now he has to look her in the eyes, smile, and pretend he wants to court her. It is so dark. But Jack is doing it because he loves Diane that much. He is gearing up to put on a little romantic play, the performance of a lifetime, just to win Diane back. I hate seeing Jack suffer like this, but I also have to applaud his absolute dedication to his wife. He is willing to walk through hell, holding hands with the devil, if it means bringing Diane home safely. And then they actually go out in public. I was screaming at my television. Jack actually agrees to Patty's demands and takes her to society for cocktails to make their relationship public. The audacity of this woman to sit there, sipping drinks, giggling like a schoolgirl, and toasting to their wonderful romantic adventure while Diane is locked behind bars, it is infuriating. And poor Abby. Abby walks in, sees her uncle cozying up to the woman who has terrorized their family, and she is ready to flip a table. I was cheering for Abby to just dump a martini right on Patty's head. Wait, let me catch my breath. Okay, back to the point. Jack manages to pull Abby aside and secretly clue her in on the ruse, explaining that he is trying to get intel on Diane. And Abby, bless her heart, immediately switches gears and brings over a bottle of champagne to help sell the con. The Abbott family rallying together to play this twisted game is giving me life, even if the circumstances are utterly terrifying. But Patty is not making this easy. Oh no, she is demanding the sun, the moon, and the stars. She tells Jack that if he commits to her, there is no turning back. She literally demands his mind, body, soul, and heart. I mean, who says that? It is so incredibly creepy and possessive. And Jack, with this dead-eyed, desperate resolve, just looks at her and says, I am fully committed. My answer is yes. You can just see the piece of his soul dying as he says the words. He tries to buy some time by saying he needs a moment to adjust, but Patty is just eating it up, calling it old-school courting. It is a masterclass in manipulation, but Jack is trying to out-manipulate the master. He is playing a very dangerous game of chess, and if Patty realizes she is being played, she is going to flip the board and set the whole house on fire. And then the bombshell drops. I am still not over this. I am literally shaking my head as I type this. Jack calls a secret family meeting with Carl, Abby, Billy, and Tracy to lay out the horrific details of Diane's captivity and Detective James Burrow's quiet investigation. And then he drops the absolute worst news possible. Patty wants to move into the Abbott mansion. But wait, it gets worse. Because Patty wants Jack all to herself, she is demanding that Tracy and Carl move out. I am sorry. What? You do not just waltz into the Abbott mansion and kick Tracy Abbott out of her own family home. Tracy is the heart and soul of that family. I was ready to throw my remote at the screen. The absolute nerve of Patty Williams to demand that the actual Abbotts vacate the premises so she can play house with a man she is blackmailing. It is the most infuriating, brilliant, and raging plot twist they have done in months. Meanwhile, can we talk about Diane for a second? Because I know some fans in the forums are still holding on to their grudges from 2011, but you have to admit, Diane is being an absolute badass right now. She wakes up in this strange, barred room with Dr. Lawrence Markham trying to gaslight her into believing she had a mental breakdown, but Diane is not having it. She looks this creepy doctor dead in the eye and tells him she is completely sane, and that all 5 of her senses are telling her he is a bold-faced liar. Yes, Diane. She is pushing back, she is demanding to speak to Jack, and she is refusing to just be a quiet victim. When Markham threatens her with other methods if talk therapy doesn't work, you can see the terror in her eyes, but she doesn't break. She knows this is personal. She knows this is a setup. And she is fighting with everything she has. Sometimes I contradict myself because I am just so emotional about this whole thing. Like, part of me wants Jack to just call the cops and kick the door down, but then I remember that Patty is a complete wild card, and she might actually have Diane killed if she feels cornered. So Jack's slow, methodical, fake romance plan is probably the smartest move, even if it is agonizing to watch. And we cannot forget Victor Newman's role in all of this. Victor funded Patty's return. He set this monster loose on the Abbotts just to ruin Jack's life, and now it has spiraled into a full-blown hostage situation. I swear, if Victor doesn't face some kind of consequence for bankrolling this psycho, I am going to write a strongly worded letter to CBS. Victor unleashed a hurricane, and now Jack is the one forced to stand in the rain and pretend he likes getting wet. Let's circle back to Kyle, because his character growth here is actually kind of amazing. Once Jack clues Colin on the reality of the situation that Diane is likely being held captive and that Patty is the key to finding her, Call has to swallow his rage and play along. That scene at Society where Call acts outraged, that was a performance within a performance. He is helping his dad sell this lie to Patty, and it shows how strong the bond between Jack and Call has become. They are a team, working in the shadows, trying to outsmart a woman who has spent years perfecting the art of insanity. It is a high-stakes game of poker, and Kyle is the perfect wild card for Jack to use. I just hope Kyle doesn't let his temper get the best of him and blow the whole operation, because we all know Kyle has a tendency to act first and think later. So, what is coming next? I am predicting that Patty is going to move into that mansion, and it is going to be an absolute house of horrors for Jack. She is going to parade around in Diane's space, making demands, and Jack is going to have to grit his teeth and smile. But I also predict that Tracy is not going to just go quietly into the night. Tracy might move out physically, but she is going to be doing her own investigating. Tracy has been a victim of a psycho doctor herself recently, so her radar is fully up. I am absolutely here for a Tracy and Phyllis team up to take down Patty and Dr. Markham. I am dreading the moment Patty inevitably figures out Jack is faking, because you know it's going to happen. The fallout is going to be explosive, and I am terrified for Diane's safety when that shoe finally drops. Look, I know some people are loving this because they love to hate Patty, but personally, my heart just breaks for Jack and Diane. They finally found their way back to each other, they finally got married, and now they are being ripped apart by ghosts from the past. I am emotionally exhausted, I am invested, and I am going to be glued to my screen every single weekday to see how this plays out. Am I the only one who feels like this is the most stressful storyline of the year? We need Jack to get a win. We need Diane to get rescued. And we desperately need Patty Williams to be locked away in a high-security facility where she can never, ever get her hands on the Abbott family again. Okay, I need to go drink some water and calm down. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I cannot be the only one losing my mind over this.